WTBQ.
Hello, my name is Marina Case from the Red Shutters, a full-service antiques, decorating, and design company, which is based in Warwick, New York, on Railroad Avenue, just across from the train station. Warwick is about an hour north of New York City and is a wonderful place to visit with many restaurants, shops, and a farmer's market every Sunday. At the Red Shutters, we serve our clients every day to try to introduce style, taste, and help them make great decisions. We are here today on The Style Show, a show about decorating, fashion, and fun. We welcome you, and please encourage your friends to listen. They can log in from anywhere in the world to www.wtbq.com or call in at 845-651-1110 with questions. Also, we recently have set up The Style Show on Facebook. So if you log into The Style Show, you can like us there and find out the latest and upcoming shows. I want to announce local events here in the metro area before we get started. First, we have, I encourage you to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and visit the Costume Institute for the Punk Chaos to Couture show. That's running just a short time now through August 14th. It's a terrific show. Even if punk is not your thing, I think you'll really enjoy it. It's really well done, kind of a history of Americana from the 1970s on up, and you know, lots of interesting things from London and the U.S., and I think you would very much enjoy it. So I encourage you to go to the Met and visit the Costume Institute. Also, upcoming this fall, I'll be hosting a series of workshops at a recent project that we did, which is the Tuxedo Park Library. Those will take place on September 12th, October 10th, and November 14th. If you would like to receive more information about these, you can log into our website, www.theredshutters.com, and sign up for our email. We will do workshops. They're free, and we will talk about your home is the story of your life. We will talk about trends and fads and smart decorating choices, and use what you have decorating, using what you already have in your own home to create and recreate a new room. So we look forward to that, and we hope you'll join us. Today, joining me is my co-host, Jude Hammerly.
Thank you.
And Holly Blaylock, who is the Vice President of Marketing at CR Laine. Holly, are you there?
Yeah.
Hi, Holly. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks so much for being with us here today. I'm delighted to have you. CR Laine is one of my favorite companies to buy furniture from, and we want to talk to you a little bit about the history. Maybe can you tell us, I know what you started in 1958 in Hickory, North Carolina being a very important center for furniture in the world, actually, and tell us a little bit about the history and how CR Laine got started.
Oh, absolutely. Well, as you said, we were founded in 1958 right here in Hickory, North Carolina, by a gentleman named Clarence Roseman. What I find interesting about the story is that Mr. Roseman had 3 part-time employees, and their specialty was a style called a gooseneck rocker. Are you familiar with the gooseneck rockers?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
That was our claim to fame in the original days. And so now the company has obviously continued to grow. We are now about 150 employees, and we continue to be family-owned and operated with Mr. Clarence Roseman's son, who we call Sonny. His name is Clarence Roseman Jr., but everybody knows him as Sonny, and Sonny's now our Chief Executive Officer, and his son, Warren, is our President.
Oh, terrific. And tell us a little bit about what your values at CR Laine are. What do you, when you're in marketing, so I know you're talking about this all the time, what are you telling everyone that's wonderful about CR Laine?
The values of CR Laine. Well, we have staked our claim as being an innovator in style, comfort, and color. And so I believe that we have just been able to pull together the skills of our local community, because we have some of the best artisans in this area who help us formulate styling that is uniquely CR Laine. And we use all different body types to sit and test and check out the chairs here locally to make sure that we provide the ideal comfort with the pitch and the cushioning and the padding. And then as the last thing that we look for is color. And we've really become quite an innovator in that field in recent years.
What I think is so wonderful too is, and for our listeners, any Benjamin Moore color can be used on a CR Laine piece, which is really can create a very fun look, and which is why I think so many designers love CR Laine.
Yeah, that's just another level of personalization that you can get with any exposed wood with CR Laine.
Right, so you can take one of their great frames. Now, I encourage our listeners to go to both our Facebook pages. I posted this morning some things that some projects where we use CR Laine furniture. One is the Spot Glenmere Mansion, and also a residential project that I did. And also, so that's the red shutters on Facebook. You can like us and see those. And then also on CR Laine's site, CR Laine Furniture on Facebook. They list all of their projects. And if you would like to see their line of furniture, certainly you can go to, what is your website, Holly?
It is crlaine.com. CRLAINE.com.
Right. And they have terrific lines. As a matter of fact, one of my clients from New York this morning sent me 3 URL links to 3 of your pieces and said, what do you think of these sofas? And
well, I have to say, the project that you did with the spa caught my attention this morning. That was beautiful.
So the pieces that we used in there were your knife arm chairs, which are the 4 sitting in front of the fireplace, where we created kind of, so they can come out from their treatments and just kind of cozy up next to the fireplace there. They're oversized because the room is so big, and you can just kind of get in them in your robe and put your feet up. And I've done that there, so it's kind of fun. And the other piece that we used, which there are 4 also across facing out the windows into the spa garden, are and it's a Klezmo style recamier, a lounge of sorts, and I did them in a vinyl so that the treatment oils and things wouldn't matter, but we put beautiful linens on them that get changed, and people love them. I get compliments on those all the time. And what's so great about those chaises, I don't know if you're familiar, Holly, with the ones I'm referring to, but they are extremely lean and not oversized. They're a great scale.
Yes, I think I believe that's the Whittier chaises. They're kind of like a mini chaise.
Right. Real nice and tight and light and beautiful shape, and copying sort of the ancient Greek lines, which I love to use in my work. Tell us more about comfort and how you get there. You're one of the companies that I can often say to a client, you know what, they really attempt to make almost every piece comfortable.
Well, I alluded to a little bit of the specialty testing that we do, where we just have people of different sizes and shapes to actually sit in the piece to give it a final test run to see if we need to tweak and adjust. But really, that comfort starts way back at the beginning when we are actually constructing the frame, building in the pitch to it, layering in the coils, layering over that the cushioning and the foam. Now, we do use new processes and equipment, but we always hold true to what I would consider time-tested premium construction features. And I know this is kind of furniture jargon, but these are the words that listeners would want to ask about if they are looking for furniture that they can make an investment in for a long term and to get the ultimate comfort. And that would be words like kiln-dried hardwoods. These are 5/4 inch or thicker hardwood lumber with joints that have been glued together and doweled together. That reinforcement with these angled corner blocks in place provides a very strong structural integrity to begin the comfort process. But another key word to ask about is the springing system. We use 8-way hand-tied springing, where we do have artisans that actually hand-tie using cotton twine. They hand tie in 8 directions of coils in the frame, and what that allows the sitter to have is some ride that goes not only up and down and side to side, but it actually goes in all directions because each coil plays off of the other, so you never feel like you've just plunked down into the frame. It actually will support you from all directions. We use soy-based foam, which is not only good for the environment, but does provide a high resiliency lifetime, so it does give pushback for some long-lasting comfort.
Right. I often encourage my customers to upgrade to the Comfort Down package, which, gone are the days of the 50s where you're fluffing all down cushions. So it's so nice that one can, have a foam core and then wrap it in down, which I think is what that Comfort Down amounts to be, and is very comfortable.
that is a perfect choice because it gives you the soft feel, but like you said, you don't have to do the continual fluffing every time you get up.
Right. And in your showroom, I noticed, and I want to talk more about your High Point showroom because I think you guys do a brilliant job at setting that up. You do a clever thing where you separate how does it work? You have a sofa, and then you label each cushion according to the name of the cushion. Is that right? Tell us more about that.
Well, the number one question that we get from the folks that visit us, and we are not open to the public, we're open to design professionals. So when people come in, as yourself, they want to say, how does it sit? We have 6 different cushioning options, so what makes each of them different? And so we want to let you try it out on the same sofa, because to sit in a comfort down cushion in a shallow sofa versus sitting in a comfort down cushion in a deep chair, they're still going to come off differently. So we want you to experience that sit in a uniform way. So we give you the option of, when you visit us, to be able to test drive each of the cushions in the exact same frame so that you have in your mind and can, a better description of how to relate to each of our packages, as we know that your clients count on you to help them make the right choices.
Holly, you said at the beginning that it's really a 3-part pitch to the decorator and the consumer from C.R. Laine, which is style, comfort, and color. I want to talk a little bit with you and hear you talk a little bit about style. There, for instance, we referred to a knife arm chair in the beginning of this conversation, which is a very well-known and traditional, sometimes it's called an English arm or a Bridgewater arm chair, but it's a very well-known style. What is the balance at C.R. Laine between interpreting or between delivering sort of well-known styles and then innovations, like whatever Mies van der Rohe designed a chair, the Barcelona chair. It came out of his head and it was completely unique. What's the balance at C.R. Laine between doing the traditional styles in the best possible way and then in creating from scratch new things that can, create a trend?
Well, I definitely believe people are looking for interiors that don't look like you've just picked them up out of a retail store showroom floor where everything matches and everything works together. They're looking for pieces with different period reflections combined together in a look that is pleasurable, balanced, but doesn't have that direct, strict symmetry that you would get from matching pieces. So for our collections, I guess if I could answer that in a general way, it would be that we're probably more classic in our sofa. Pardon me. We're more classic in our sofa styling, where you do have those English arms, rolled arms, track arms, just simple, more quiet silhouettes in the sofas in general. And then we kind of really bring in the wow and the real personality with jewelry piece chairs. Now, there are always exceptions to that, but in general, I think that's how we bridge that gap between the modern and the classic.
Right, you do a great job putting on those large chevrons on the small slipper chairs that add a lot of style.
Oh, that's a very good point. Your textile application will make or break a silhouette, and
right.
it becomes the personality. So when you take that small-scale piece, don't be afraid to break the rules of, you always have to put a small-scale fabric on a small-scale chair. Go ahead and try mixing it up by using really large overscaled patterns on smaller pieces.
This week I ordered your spool chairs, which one of my favorite chairs that you have, with the Moo La La in caramel fabric, which I think we should be telling our local Belleville Creamery ice cream place. That's a great name, Moo La La in caramel. It has so much style.
Did you know that I get to name the fabrics too?
Oh, did you name that? Because that's a terrific name. That's great. I just love that fabric, and I would use it in every room if I could. It's just a great fabric. It's an animal print. How would you describe it, Holly?
Well, it's an animal print that has a really soft hand to it.
Mm-hmm.
It almost looks like a hair on hide because if you look at it, there's a level of embossing, a subtle embossing to it. But with natural hair on hide, it's itchy, scratchy because of the fur. And this is also a vegetarian leather, hair on hide look because it is constructed, made completely of polyester versus hair on hide animal.
It's terrific. And I want to tell our listeners that you have the option of ordering, I think you have, over 400 fabrics at CR Laine?
Wow, we actually have 800.
800, okay.
We do. And then we have about 50 leathers as well.
Yes, and so I want to let our listeners know that you have the option of ordering 800 of their fabrics, which are terrific and well-selected, well-chosen. But you can also order your own material, customer's own material, which we do as well. The chair I posted on Facebook this morning and on Instagram is a cravat fabric, which I think looks terrific on your chair, real bold graphic print in a kind of pinkish color, but it comes off nicely. I also ordered recently from you a wing chair for a judge client of mine, and in Echo Caramel, the leather, which is a striking kind of yellowy color. And it really came out well. He was so pleased with it.
When it comes to color for us, good enough isn't good enough. We really have to, when you're looking at different leathers and different fabrics, and you're looking for that perfect shade of coral, that perfect shade of apricot, we really go to the nines to make sure that we get the one that really sings, rather than just picking one that just because it might fall into that color category. And I think that's so important for people, for your listeners to utilize the talents that you have at the Red Shutters, because if you say that you want a room that's centered around red or around blue, there's so much more to that color composition than just blue. Even robin's egg blue, that just breaks down into so many different categories.
Right, and what you were saying before, which I think is important, that people don't want just rooms off the showroom floor anymore out of furniture stores. And at the Red Shutters, our focus is always to encourage our clients to think about traditional, modern, tribal, and fun in all their rooms. That's our formula. And they can choose any percent of that they want, but we're going to encourage them to think about those things. And it's so funny because I have clients who never thought about introducing tribal elements, which are really the works of the people from all over the world. And it really adds a nice dimension to a room, and I think you guys do a great job of offering that option. And it could be that's done with an animal print or, a particular accessory, but in any case, that's our formula, and we love to talk about that.
Holly, you've established some of the criteria, some of the virtues of CR Laine furniture. So I want to give you an opportunity here now to make a very pointed case. You've mentioned furniture stores, and I think the furniture store landscape has changed dramatically in the last 30 years or so. I remember seeing a book at High Point the last time I was there about how foreign manufacturing has changed North Carolina considerably, and also, the American retail furniture landscape. So, if a person is going into the big retail furniture stores that you see now, the IKEA and some of the other sort of well-advertised stores that focus on low prices. How does CR Laine make a case so that consumer also considers a CR Laine piece rather than something that's being dangled in front of them on TV?
I think in any situation, you should always purchase the best that you're able to purchase when it comes to something that you are going to have for a long time. It's an investment. And for some people, it depends on what life stage they're in. They might be right out of college and have no other opportunity but to go to an IKEA, but knowing that purchase, if it's a sofa, is going to be a short-time purchase. But a lot of times we'll find people who are in the second phase who made the wrong purchase, thought that the look, maybe it's similar, or maybe they were really encouraged by DIY show that they saw and wanted to try it on their own, and then they come back realizing it just didn't give them the results, either the look, definitely not the comfort, and definitely not the longevity. And so that's where our opportunity comes to share with them that there's reasons that we have a price point. There's reasons that our furniture weighs twice as much. There's our stitching that you can count 7 stitches per inch. That means our sewers are going a little slower and they're not just pushing those covers through. And we show them the signs of quality to be able to look for at retail so that they won't make the mistake again. Does that help answer that question? I'm not sure if I got sideways on you there.
Well, I think it helps not only answer the question on your behalf, but also on behalf of the decorators who, are offering furniture. And we're grateful, I think, that the furniture companies have started to embrace decorators and not just classical furniture stores as sources for goods, because, I think the consumers, they have a choice now, and that is a third choice, which is, one, you can go to a furniture store of the new type, which is basically foreign manufacturing. 2, you can go to a classic furniture store. 3, you can go to a decorator. And the case you're making about C.R. Laine is important for the decorator too. It gives the decorator a chance to contribute other fabric ideas that lay on top of the C.R. Laine 800 fabrics that you offer. Gives the decorator a chance to say, hey, let's consider this in relation to the rest of the stuff in the room, which the furniture stores are sometimes at a loss to sort of expand their thinking. So the points you're making are points that support going to a decorator rather than a furniture store, even if it would be the first time you ever did so.
I think that when you talk about furniture stores, there are furniture stores on the big and better price side that I would acknowledge. But we do also sell furniture stores that are they're single family owned, not multi-chain stores that are educated in the design process. We're about 60% made up of that type of store, 40% made up of designers, but the designer store is where we are really finding our brilliance. These are stores that are 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, owned and operated by a licensed designer who has some groupings on the floor, but really is going into customers' homes and understands the signature process of our construction, our pattern matching, textile combinations, and can really educate people on the investment that they're going to make.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head right there. The decorator is the person that the customer has confidence to allow into their home. Would you ever allow the IKEA salesperson into your home? No, it's funny even just to think about it. And
That's
then
right.
the retail furniture store, sort of they're looking in another direction. But the decorator is the person who comes into your home. It's the person you trust. And I think C.R. Laine makes a brilliant move when it opens its doors to the decorators, and now becomes a 40%, decorator-driven or designer-driven property.
They understand us. You decorators, you're wonderful. You understand our little bit of quirky sensibility when it comes to color and design and combining modern and classic. We love our decorators.
Thank you, Holly. I want to ask you, and I don't know if it's a secret recipe, but I have to tell you, when I came upon you at High Point several years ago, you do a brilliant job. I just wonder, how do you do that? You guys really pull a great showroom together.
Well, our team is definitely a machine. We've got multiple individuals that come together to make up the whole, and I think it's just a serendipitous union of the minds and talent that we have here that just kind of rolls ahead, being, instead of following, we're just kind of making our own way. We don't necessarily have any rules that we follow. We just kind of, work together and do what feels good, because if it feels right and it feels good to us, we can't help think that there are others that'll like it as well.
Well, it truly works. And I mean, when you walk into your showroom in High Point, I always say to myself, okay, I'm going there first.
Oh, wow.
And of course you have great food too. But they feed us decorators quite well in High Point, maybe too much.
Absolutely.
We all have fun partying down there. It's a great time. But I always say to myself, oh my gosh, that looks so cool. Look at that. You know, what you did with the turquoise, or, you know, these great colors, and now yellows and blacks, and so things that are on trend.
Well, at the beginning of your show, I heard you sharing with the listeners, that they should consider going to the Met exhibit to see the punk
Chaos de Couture, right?
Yes. Well, I did go and see that a few weeks ago, and I can guarantee you that there will be some influences from that collection that I saw there
that would
are
make
going
sense.
to translate.
I'm already seeing them at the Gap, and it's interesting. Yeah, I think it's going to have a big influence. Very well done show.
You know, I'm seeing custom furniture, as we talk here, Holly, as being a way that, let's just say, for the sake of discussion, a wife can improve radically the home by removing the favorite chair of the husband, which maybe has been there a tad too long.
The Barker Lounge?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Archie and Edith Bunker living room, in which those chairs are extremely favored, and yet they are not necessarily the most delightful looking things. And I think these are in living rooms across America. So wouldn't it be an excellent gift for a wife to extend to her husband not only a very comfortable C.R. Laine chair, but a much better looking, much more lovely, much more durable, much more fashionable, and much cooler brand new chair? Wouldn't that be a great gift?
I couldn't agree more. And with the confidence of Marina, at your side, I feel like we can convince them to go ahead and get rid of the duct tape covered armchair. and
but that would be so punk to do the duct tape. That wing chair I just sold would replace Archie Bunker's chair nicely, and that leather feels so good. And I have to tell my listeners too, you would be surprised how reasonable they are for what the quality is. We're not talking about a $10,000 California sofa. These prices are really good for what the quality is, and American made, which is a big deal in my book. So,
yeah, we're in Orange County, New York here, which is a fair to Midland county, and it's C.R. Laine is an extremely popular product in Marina's store, so that shows that this is quality within reach of the normal American consumer.
Absolutely. We've been asked, before, how is it that you are able to provide this supreme level of construction and comfort and durability at your price point, because others that are exactly comparable are 15-20% higher. And we don't have a lot of overhead built in.
Thanks so much, Holly, for being with us here in the Style Show. Sorry we couldn't finish up, but we'll get back to you next week. Thanks so much.